Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our SWAC football head coaches media session for Monday, September 7th. We'll begin approximately 10:05 with Alabama A&M head coach Connell Maynor. He'll be followed by Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. from Alabama State at 10:15. Coach Cedric Thomas with Alcorn State will be at 10:25. Coach Raymond Woodie, Bethune-Cookman, will be at 10:35. Coach James Colzie with Florida A&M be at 10:45. Coach Mickey Joseph at Grambling State will be at 10:55. Coach Alonzo Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff will be at 11:05. Coach Kendrick Wade with Mississippi Valley State will be at 11:15. Coach Bubba McDowell with Prairie A&M will be at 11:25. Coach Terrence Graves with Southern University will be at 11:35. Coach Cris Dishman with Texas Southern will be at 11:45. And Coach T.C. Taylor with Jackson State will be at 11:55. We do ask all of our media participants, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your question in the queue. If you do see that there are quite a few questions there in the queue, we're going to ask that you please limit your questions just to one initial question. Feel free to re-raise your hand and get an additional question answered if time allots. Please ensure that your lines are muted unless you are actively asking a question, and please wait to be called upon prior to asking your question. With that being said, we'll pause momentarily. We'll begin at approximately 10:05 with Alabama A&M head coach Connell Maynor. Appreciate your patience. Once again, for our media participants that are joining us on today's media session, we ask you do have any questions that you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, we're happy to be joined by Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing good, Coach. Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Jackson State.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't get the result we wanted. The Gulf Coast Challenge, seventh annual Gulf Coast Challenge. we look forward to. We knew it was going to be a good game. TC is doing a good job with those guys. Watching the film, we knew they had a good football team. They took the opening kickoff, went down and scored. Excuse me. And then we got the ball and we moved a little bit and they stopped us and we had punt and they got a good return on punt and set them up for a short field and scored. And then we went down and drove it down again and lose a little bit of clock, kicked the field goal, made it 14-3, kick off, and they run it back for a touchdown. So it's 21-3, we're a little bit behind the 8 ball and kind of wanted to run the ball a little more but when we got down 21-3, kind of had to get out the game plan a little bit. And we didn't do a very good job of slowing them down in the first half. I think they scored on all 6 possessions in the first half. And so therefore we was behind the 8 ball at halftime. Come on, man, don't start. In the first possession, got down 45-10, and we fought back and made it 38-45, but fell a little short. And so I'm proud of my guys that we didn't quit, kept fighting, and gave ourselves an opportunity. So, but we got to get some stuff corrected, defensively tackling, giving up big plays and special teams, staying in our lanes.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Good, Doc. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, doing good. In fact, you just explained that the team went down 38-10 in the half. The Miracle scoring 28 straight points in the second half, while only limiting Jackson State to 7. Once you made your QB change, what were some things that you just implemented in the game to try to keep yourselves motivated and to keep the team around to keep it up after going down by 28 in the first half?
Well, we knew we was gonna play Xavier. Xavier played in the first quarter anyway. He was in the game plan to play, and we really didn't make. Only thing we did was threw the ball a little bit more the second half. We ran the ball pretty good the first half. We fumbled and the center snapped the ball possession of the game, and so that stopped that possession. And then we got down in the red zone and had back-to-back false starts. That limited us to a field goal on that drive. Right before the half, our quarterback fumbled. That killed that possession. So that's 3 possessions right there the first half that, they played good and they got a great defense, but that was on us. That was us kicking our own butt, as Mike Tomlin would say. If we can get out of our way, stop kicking our butt, then we can start kicking their butt. But we just kind of shot ourselves in the offensively. We shot ourselves in the foot in the first half. Defensively, we just didn't. We didn't have a chance. We didn't stop them at all in the first half. So we knew offensively if we cleaned that up, that we have a chance to put some points on the board, and that's what we did. And then defensively, we played a little bit better in the second half.
And my second question is, because it is considered homecoming week at Alabama A&M this week. Am I correct?
Yes,
What
sir.
are you telling your guys as far as keeping them focused for the game at hand against Bethune-Cookman?
I told them homecoming is for the students, the alumni, and friends of the family, things of that nature. I told them they can't go to anything. If they want to be a regular student, they can't go to it because they will be a regular student if I catch them there.
Stern warning. You have a good one, Coach.
You too, man.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Perry?
I'm doing well, sir. I want to talk about Xavier Langford and his play, Coach. 21 of 42 for 245 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he played well. He played well. He's a gamer, man. And X is a gamer. He's gonna compete, and you don't never have to worry about that with that guy in the game. He can also hurt you with his legs. He's tough, and he knows the system and he knows where to go with the ball. He played an excellent game. He gave us a great opportunity to come back and gave us a chance to get one more stop and have a chance to tie that game up or go for 2 at the end. So Yeah, X is a senior, and he when I came in this morning, he was in the weight room. So, and this is their off day. That's type player he is.
Great. Coach, also, you all went 6 for 6 on 4th down conversions. Talk about that, Coach.
Yeah, that's great. But you know what the problem with that is?
4th downs.
Yeah, we got to do better on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down, which we did. I mean, we had 500 yards total offense, and we put up 38 points. But at the end of the day, we don't want to have those situations where we got to go for it on 4th down 6 times. But we were 6 for 6, and that's outstanding. But we don't want to get it done on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down, so we'll have to do it on 4th down.
Thank you, Coach. Good
Yes,
luck
sir.
this week.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Final questions for Coach. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, man. Congratulations to everybody that won this weekend. Good luck this week.
Appreciate it. All right, we're a few minutes ahead of schedule for Coach Robinson. We'll pause. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have any questions for our head coaches, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question. Please ensure that your lines are please ensure that your lines are muted unless you are actively asking a question. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going today?
Great, Coach. Doing great. Appreciate you. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. And if you could please start us out with an opening statement, just recapping your team's most recent outing versus Florida A&M.
Yeah, we fell short. Talented Florida A&M team, Coach well. Coach Colzie has those guys playing at a high level, and they came up here ready to play. I think both teams started off strong. Had a great crowd. It was homecoming, so we had all those homecoming festivities. That was great. The kids did a great job of staying focused all week, like we asked them, and came out ready to play. Thought we ran the ball well. Took some advantages of things that we had from that standpoint. Young guy had over 100 yards rushing again this week. He didn't get in the end zone, but I thought he did a great job. Jamari Holsclaw went back and forth in the first half. We missed a couple field goals in the first half, and I say it a million times: if you can't kick, you can't win. The week before we was able to kick field goals well. This week we wasn't, and we did. This week we didn't, and I think that was a big point in the ball game, especially early. We didn't take care of some of those opportunities that we had, but 7-on-7, 7-7 at the half. Came back in the second half, and we threw a pick. Just not a good decision, but it's part of football that happens, and they took advantage of it. And I think overall, if I had to sum up the game, FAMU did a great job of taking advantage of our mistakes. They scored 14 points off of turnovers. After that interception in the third quarter, they came back on the very next play with a big play. Richardson's very talented quarterback, probably one of the best in the conference. Able to slow him down, able to get a couple interceptions, which was big. He hadn't had many turnovers all year, but at the end of the day, he made the plays that he had to make. And then another big part of the game, was able to kick a field goal, cut it from 11 to 8 to give us a chance. They were able to get a stop on defense, so they were able to get the ball back, and then had a fumble on the first play that they returned for a touchdown. So they once again took advantage of our mistakes, and that's what football comes down to. Crucial parts in the game when you're playing a championship team like they are. They took advantage of our miscues, and that's part of football. And so we have to become a little bit more mentally stronger. I thought physically we played a great game. We had a good game plan. It was moving. And the other thing that we didn't work on or didn't do a very good job on was third downs. 2 of 13 on third downs, and I think they were 7 of 13. So they excelled in converting on third downs, and we didn't, which kind of skewed that time of possession in their favor. So tough loss, but it's one of those things what should have happened. That's what we tell the kids. So now you have to come back this week, and we have Mississippi Valley State playing at home. And we know Coach Wade, they always play us extremely tough. They're going to play us hard. They're going to compete. They're going to fight to the very end. So we know we have to be ready to play. And right now we're just trying to win the next SWAC game.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Perry Daniels.
Coach, so you talked about the interception that your team gave up, but your defense was able to get 2 interceptions from that good quarterback, Daniel Richardson. Talk about that.
Man, it was the game within the game. And I think our defensive coordinator, Ryan Lewis, called a great game. Their offensive coordinator, I thought, called a great game also. We showed them a different coverage that we hadn't shown, and Dejan made a great play on that play, a great play on that interception on that game. So it was just one of those situations where we showed something different that the quarterback hadn't seen. We kind of felt like the kid has thrown for 5,000 yards in college. He's a great player. And so he's new to the SWAC, but he's not new to college football. And so we knew if we just lined up in the same thing that he would take advantage of it. So we showed something different, and we was able to get an interception on that play. But they changed up some things and came back and ran a great shuffle pass at the end of the game in the crucial part. So it was one of those games, if you really paid attention to the game within the game from a schematic standpoint, I thought both coaching staffs did a great job of doing some different stuff and then going back to their key things that they were good at. And that's what football is. So I think it was a very, very high-level football game on both sides.
And Coach, how do you address the lack of third down conversions for your offense?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we have to emphasize this week. And sometimes it's just a matter of executing and believing in what you're doing, and then just having the concept of focusing on it in practice. So we'll do a little bit more 3rd and 2 to 5, because some of those third downs were short conversions that we have to convert on. And I think, the kicker was kicking really good, Brandon Gilliam. And so he was, player of the week last week. He just had an off day. And so maybe we go for it a little bit more on 4th down if we have those type of situations. So now it's a 2-play situation instead of 1. But at the end of the day, you win on 1st and 2nd down, but those 3rd and 2 to 5s, that's what we have to get better on. So that starts in practice. You have situational periods where you work on it and get your play where the kids are very confident in it, then they know how to execute it.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Robinson, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good. How's it going?
I'm doing good.
the team one-dimensional as far as running the ball, but you did run for over 200 yards in this game. What are some things you want to try to do in this next game as far as trying to improve the output from the quarterback position?
Right. So I think it's one of those situations where it's a combination of receivers and quarterbacks. Keep in mind, both of the young men that we played, they weren't in the mix early on in the season. So the reps that they're getting, they didn't get the spring and the summer and the fall reps as being the number one or number two quarterback. And so some of the things that we're doing offensively from a passing scheme, we're just trying to catch up. So, but as they catch up week to week, then we can expand and do more and more. So sometimes you have to be smart about what you're calling. I mean, you may have a play that you want to call, but if the kid has only ran it for the first time this week, or he's only 2 weeks into it, it's like anything else. The more you do, the better you get at it. And so, but as we go into the season, especially going into this game, we'll try to do a little bit more. So each week we'll do a little bit more, but it has to go on based on what the kids can control in their mind and understand, and then go out there and execute. If that makes sense.
And my follow-up question, 33,576 was in the stadium. Tell us about the feel inside of the stadium before game, during the game, and after the game.
Yeah, you know how our crowds show up. So early on, it didn't look like that, and so at kickoff time, I'm like, man, it's not a capacity crowd like I thought it would be. But probably midway through the first quarter, you're coaching, and all of a sudden you get a TV timeout, and you look up like, whoa, man, everybody's in here. So it definitely was a great feeling just walking into the stadium. Dr. Cable, our AD, has did a great job of branding the stadium, with all our logos, Swarmers One, Big Bama State. So it was a great atmosphere for an HBCU football game, for a college football game in general. We just didn't send everybody home to the tailgate happy, and so that's our job. So we didn't get that part done, but everything else was great, and we just got to get wins at home. That's a big part of what we're trying to work on.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Absolutely.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Robinson, it's James Hill. I hope you and all of the Hornets Nation are well. When you look back at that FAMU game, what are some of the things you would like to clean up going forward on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, we gave up a couple big plays. We had that big play. We know after turnover, most offenses, they're going to take a shot. So we told the kids, hey, be prepared. They're about to take a shot. And they took the shot, had a good change up from what they usually did. And like I said, the coaches both coached a good game, and the kid did a hesitation and went. And our guy on the back end was playing the interception instead of playing the man. So that's something that you can coach up. Mental error, not a physical error. So our kids played extremely hard. They were extremely physical. We got the ball on the ground. We got a couple picks. And so and I love all of that. And at the end of the day, we just have to make sure that we're getting some more turnovers and try to score for turnovers. That's all we can do defensively. But defense has been playing at a high level all year. Special teams play very well. We just got to make the field goal. So it's the small things, but small things are big in big games, and that's what we have to have the kids to focus on.
Coach, up next is Mississippi Valley State, the Delta Devils. What do you envision in that one? Your home crowd behind you, the marching band, the whole nine. But what are you looking to get done in the Valley game?
Yeah, well, we're just taking it. Our motto is always win today. So right now we're trying to win Monday, and as we build towards the Valley game on Saturday, we're just trying to win one SWAC game. So we're not focusing on the big picture. We know they're going to come in here and play hard. They're a talented team, and they're well coached, and I love the discipline aspect of what they're doing, and they're going to compete. I think whenever you play a Mississippi Valley team, whether it's there or here, it doesn't matter. Wherever you play at, they're going to play hard, and they're going to play 4 quarters. Last year we took a lead early in the game, and we couldn't score any more in the whole second half. So we know that they're going to compete the whole game. So we have to be ready to play, and that's the message to the team.
Thank you, sir.
Last question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Robinson. Good morning to you. How you doing?
Good morning, Ty. How's it going?
I'm good, man. A follow-up question on Valley. What is the increased challenge playing a team that's coming off a bye week, but also a good team, as you mentioned, and is presently winless?
Well, I think from the bye week aspect of it, that they had a little bit more time to prepare. This past week we were looking at FAMU. We weren't looking at Valley. And so we have to play catch up. So they'll have a little bit more time as far as that. A little bit healthier, but I think at this part of the year, everyone has a bang or a bruise. Nobody's 100%. feeling great. And so I think that's the two things you're concerned about. But once the kickoff starts, you just go out there and play football.
All right. Thank you much, and good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Alcorn State and Coach Cedric Thomas. Once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. All right, I do see we have Coach with us. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yes, sir. Homecoming, really good atmosphere. Everybody was excited. Good to see a lot of family and friends, pregame. And didn't get out to the start that we wanted. Kind of gave up some explosives, but offense kind of held it in the road. Defensively settled down. Coach Robeson and the staff did a really good job of settling the guys in and got some stops and was able to take it in the half, 14-14. And offense came out and kind of drove the football and gave us a lead. And then defensively, they just did a really good job of just kind of pounding and continuing to work, that really explosive Pine Bluff team. And then just, was able to just kind of run out of time and made some plays where we can kind of keep those guys at bay. And so was excited about the way the guys played, after that slow start, but being down 14-0 was not a small task. And so just excited about the way the guys felt, inside of, the game, just being able to battle back and deal with those adverse situations. And so just, was really good win for the Alcorn brand, the fanatics, and just the nation itself.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. Want to open up for questions for Coach Thomas. Once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize your raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Floor is now open for questions. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Thomas, how you doing today?
I'm blessed. About yourself?
Doing good. Going down 14-7 in the first quarter against Pine Bluff, you reeled off. You just went on a scoring run all the way up until the fourth quarter. What was the things that you did as far as limiting their offense, the quick strike offense for Pine Bluff to kind of keep themselves into the game?
Yeah, me and the staff, Coach Rowe and his team, man, we got together and just kind of wanted to, change some defensive concepts. We had some man pitches earlier, and they did a really good job because they was, they had an off week just like what Coach Rob was talking about, and came out with some new looks and kind of got us in some bad situations. So we just kind of settled down and made our adjustments to get out some of the man principles, and was able to just relax and get a guy some really good calls so they could go play fast. And I think once they just kind of settled in, the Malachi Vegas and Mr. Edwards just kind of held us down to be able to get that ball back to the offense so they could put it in the box for us and score some points.
Now, going into the game this week, you're going to Grambling, and we all know what happens down there in Grambling is strange things that happen down there. What are you trying to get? What do you tell your team to try to get themselves mentally prepared for this Tigers team?
So it's the same deal for us. The football field is still 100 yards and 53 in the third. We still get 6 points for scoring touchdowns and 1 point for extra points. And so we just got to play our brand of ball. I'm only concerned about us. We started out, kind of slow, and we're starting to find our identity. So it really don't matter who on the other sideline for us. We got to continue to do what we're coached to do, and be sound in all three phases. And it'll give us a chance against anybody on any Saturday if we just can do those things consistently.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Thomas, I hope you and everybody on the reservation are well. Mr. Vaughn, talk about his game, able to do it on the ground as well as throwing the ball. But what did you see in that performance?
He's just getting better. He's getting better. He's getting comfortable. Once we made him the official starter, now you don't have to look over his shoulder, as far as that aspect. But the guys really embraced him. He's just selling in. He's throwing to some guys consistently. We know we got a live arm, and he can throw the football and make a lot of big time throws. And so how it is in the pass game. It always takes a little longer when you're dealing with a lot of different wide outs and pass pro and things of that, and just really good defenses in this league. And so he's starting to settle in. We know he can run. He's dynamic with his legs, but it's gonna come a time where he got to sit in the pocket and be a natural passer for it. And so Coach Gale's got some things in the pass game that he can really excel in. And just kudos to those guys on the perimeter just catching the ball and being consistent and getting open for them.
Alcorn at Grambling State, big game, a game that a lot of people want to see, and there's a lot of history there. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we just celebrated the 2014 championship 10-year anniversary. And, I was talking to them guys about, from 2012 to now. We've met them guys in a lot of championship, a lot of homecomings, a lot of really good football games. And so, way before that, it goes back even farther. But just in the last, in my run from 2012 being here to now, it's been some knockout, drag out, really good football, competitive fellowship type of on and off the field. Companionship from that standpoint. So we're excited about it. The guys understand what's at stake, and we got to just continue to get better, continue to grow as a team, and continue to just solidify, who we are, in this conference.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, over 500 yards of total offense. Can you talk about where you are in your feeling regarding the efficiency of your offense? If you could just talk about that.
Yeah, we're getting better. We're getting better. We know it's a marathon and not a sprint. And we had a really tough schedule. When you look at that schedule, the way we started off, McNeese, ranked in 1AA. I think they had a slip up this week. You see what Vanderbilt just did to Alabama, and then UAB. So we had a tough sledding, early. So we didn't put a whole lot of things out, but we, from a personnel standpoint, knew we could use those games as a player development standpoint. Got a lot of bodies that went out and competed. And so now I just think the guys starting to get the fruits of their labor. I'm so proud of them that they never wavered from a confidence standpoint with wins and losses, but just every day coming out and working. So Coach Gales and that offensive staff are doing a really good job. We could see the picture. And so they're just getting better, each practice rep. Anytime they touch the grass, you're seeing those guys really fellowship and understanding the system of what's going on. And so we're going to need it again this week versus a really good Grambling football team. But, I'm liking what we're seeing from an offensive standpoint. They're giving us a chance to win.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Question goes to Stephen Robinson. Next question goes to Stephen Robinson. All right. Next question goes.
Yes. Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Oh, I'm blessed. What's up with it, Steve?
Yes. Quick question, Coach, about Stamarian Edwards, local kid from my area. I know he's leading your team in tackles. Can you just talk a little about what he's meant to the team and how he has perhaps matured over the last couple of years you've had him?
Yeah, man. Awesome. I am about, kids from the Delta. And when I left Mississippi Delta, he decided to come with me. So he's leading us up front, on that at that linebacker position. He's running around making a lot of plays. He's the brains behind the operation. So I'm just so excited about him. About to get his degree, this semester. And I just can't be any proud of him, So he makes us go. And we're gonna need another one, this week for him to put us on the back, to stop this high-powered offense we got to go against.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
This question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
Oh, I'm blessed. About yourself.
Hey, what caught my eye was you guys rushed for over 300 yards. But talk a little bit about your offensive line and what they were able to do in this game.
Most consistent unit since we've been playing football. Tremaine Watson, the new O-line coach, he's just bringing that MEAC mentality. Them guys, we play a lot of bodies, and it's just mentality. When you watch them guys at practice, they grind. And I think that's been the difference, all the way from, UAB, we rushed for over 100 yards in that game. And so we've been consistent. That's been the most consistent group for this 6-game stretch. And we continue them guys to get better. But that starts with their leader, and that's Tremaine Watson, coming in. And he's got them guys chomping at the bits. And so we're excited about where they're going. And like I said, we just got to continue to put it together and continue to work. But he's doing a really good job. And I'm so proud of those guys up front.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Next, we'll go over to Bethune-Cookman. Coach Woodie, once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. That being said, happy to be joined by Coach Woodie with Bethune-Cookman. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, obviously, bye week for your program this past week. So if you just kind of start us out just by kind of assessing your past week.
Yeah, just doing a lot of self-scout, basically just working on us, trying to, make sure that we're, technique and fundamental and attention to detail based on what we evaluated, with our self-scout. But it's been a good week, getting a couple guys, back healthy, and looking forward to going down to Hutchfield. And sure, Coach Maynor, he's going to have his guys ready to go.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Daytona are well. As we look back over the last week, the weather, and now we hear about another hurricane coming through. Does that disturb or alter the routine as you get ready to go into A&M? How does that work?
Well, right now we're just kind of waiting on some finalization from administration. We may have to leave out a little early, preferably tomorrow, early Wednesday. Obviously the eye is supposed to hit around that Tampa Bay area and then come up this way. So, we're just praying and wishing for the best.
Coach, going on the road to play, to see Coach Maynard and those guys, talk a little bit about what you expect from the Bulldogs, and they're going to be ready to play.
Oh yeah, man. Really good football team. I mean, obviously had over 500 yards in offense, and I tell you what, Coach does a great job, with that program. Obviously, I mean, he's been there a while. He knows, understand how to get those guys, ready to go, and it's going to be a tough environment.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach Woodie. How you doing today?
Outstanding. And yourself?
Doing good. Tell us the things you want to do to try to jumpstart your running game against Alabama A&M.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's going to come down to technique, fundamentals, and attention to detail. I mean, obviously, those guys are big, up front, athletic, on the perimeter. I mean, they're stout in the middle. And we just got to be smart on what we do and how we do it. I mean, because they have a solid defense.
And on the defensive side of the ball, what are the things you want to try to clean up on the defense to actually be prepared for this Alabama A&M team? And are you watching, getting film on all three quarterbacks for the Bulldogs?
Oh yeah, they got a three-headed monster. I mean, we got to tackle. I mean, that's the big thing, and then make sure that we're playing disciplined football with our eyes, being in our gaps, and then, like I said again, tackle well.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach Woodie. How you doing?
Outstanding. And yourself?
I'm good. Thank you for taking the question, Coach Woodie. What specific offensive adjustments are you looking to make? I know you have Cam Ransom at quarterback, but how do you plan on balancing the passing game with the run attack to keep the Alabama A&M defense on their heels going into the second half of the season?
Well, we just got to make sure that we take what they give us and, be smart at how we, set up, our game plan versus them. Because like I said, they're a really good football team. They're stout in the run, and then they're athletic and make plays on the perimeter as well. So we just have to make sure that we play smart and we get and allow our team to get what they give us, on defense, depending on what coverage they're in.
And just as a follow-up question, Alabama A&M's offensive line has shown a lot of size and physicality this season. Do you plan on working with your defensive line this week after getting some film and seeing how they're able to protect their quarterback?
Yes, I mean, obviously, it just comes down to technique and fundamentals. I mean, we got to do things that's going to be conducive and smart for us, you know, and then understanding with the size and the physicality they have, you know, we have to make sure that we play technique and fundamentally sound, you know, can't play high. I mean, those guys are huge.
Thank you, Coach Woodie, and safe travels.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Woodie with Bethune-Cookman. Final questions for Coach. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we are ahead of schedule. Next, we'll be joined by Coach Colzie with Florida A&M at approximately 10:45. Appreciate your patience. We'll be back momentarily. Once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question. Coach.
Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate you. Coach, as always, appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Alabama State.
Hard to win on the road against a quality opponent. You played in front of over 30,000 people at ASU Stadium. Obviously just great atmosphere. Extremely happy, but also feel lucky coming out of there with a 2-touchdown victory. Hats off, Coach Robinson. They you prepare. You think about how a team's going to look like during the summer when you do your pre-scouting things, and obviously that wasn't the team that we thought, or the type of the kind of players they may have had on that football team that we thought they would have, especially during the summer compared to what now. But he's doing a great job. He's going with what he has. And they made it extremely difficult for us throughout Saturday afternoon.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on the highest of 7 hills are well. Richardson was able to throw it around 20 of 30, 196, 3 and 2. 8 gentlemen of the receivers received, they earned double-digit yards. Talk a little bit about just your offense, and again, the receivers, they were able to go up and get it.
Well, I think for us, we want to stress getting the ball. We got a marquee guy, got a marquee tight end, but overall, we want to make sure we're spreading the wealth to everybody. And to be honest with you, we had about another 2 or 3 guys that we wish would have had catches where we would have had double-digit guys catching the football as well. So our offense is geared to get into the open man. Our offense is geared to our quarterback getting the ball out of his hands and getting it to our players. So, I'll talk about the 2 interceptions that he had. A couple of them were forced, whether they were forced throws where throughout the afternoon, we also had a couple plays that we thought we wish we could have had back because we had some other guys that were open as opposed to who we threw to. So, but Alabama State did a great job of kind of hiding their coverages, showing him one coverage and then on a snap and ball moving to another. So, overall, I think he probably could have had a 300-yard day if he would have hit the appropriate people. But did some good things. We, situationally did some good things. He had a big pass on 4th down, to extend the drive. So, overall, we still the philosophy is getting the ball out of his hands, getting it to our playmakers, allowing them the opportunity to make some moves once they catch the football. So, some good and some bad from him. But obviously, when we get to next week, next couple of weeks, we got to learn to, make sure we're a little bit better percentage-wise, and then also continue to make sure we get it to our players.
Coach, with severe weather, the threat of our with a bye, and then you got Jackson State. Like, does this throw off the routine, or how do you move accordingly?
From our last time that we were going through this, we took it day by day. And I think it's important that we continue to do that. We got quite a few players that are from the Tampa area. Just talking to my chief of staff about, there's a strong possibility we may have some people that may need to go home to help with families. So, we're taking it day by day, hour by hour. We got meetings university wide as far as how we're hoping to, handle this. But, before we pop on my team, I think you have to make sure that, thoughts and prayers are going to be with some of the people that are going to be affected, right? So I just think that, we'll take it day by day. We didn't practice yesterday because we don't normally practice on Sundays for our bye weeks. Today we have an academic day. Looking forward to having practice tomorrow, and we'll, based on where it's going and how it's moving, we'll ultimately make the proper decision once we feel we need to.
Stay safe, Coach.
Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
I have 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions thrown by Richardson. What are some things you want to try to clean up during this bye week for your offense?
Both. We had a couple well, we had two 15-yarders, right, back to back, right, and I, you have to make it a point to show our team and continue to do this, but what it does to us, where we had a personal foul after an extra point, right? Then we had another, which allowed them to kick off from the 50. Then we had another unsportsmanlike conduct from our returner. You know what I mean? That obviously put us in an even tougher situation offensively, right? So, they have that effect. I mean, I I wish I had better words for you. I can't truly tell you what I told them on the field. We got to be smarter. We got to understand the situation. We got to understand the moment. And both situations ultimately were, we were the second guy caught, but that's who normally gets caught, right? So, that was one of the biggest things I said to our team in the fourth quarter. When we sat them all down, my biggest thing was I'm not worried about how well we're gonna play or this and this. I just don't want any more penalties. I don't want any more penalties affecting drives. I don't want any more penalties affecting this team. And when I sat them down, that's what I told them. And and for the most part, they did a really, really good job with that. Obviously the turnovers, you got to give credit to something that Alabama State was doing. I mean, one of those interceptions, one of the best plays I've seen all year, was my man going over the top to get that interception. So, I would, Coach Daniel Ritchie would tell you that he probably should have checked it down and went to somebody different. But penalty wise, continue to stress the importance, and turnover wise, right? I mean, we had 4. Obviously we were able to get 3 ourselves. To I guess somewhat balance some of that out, but we're minus, I want to say 7 or 8 as far as our turnover margin goes, and we're 1-0 in the conference. We're 3-2 over the season, over the course of the year. So, got some things to clean up, and I don't think we can get by Jackson State with those type of penalties and having a 4 turnover affair.
Appreciate time, Coach.
Well, thanks, and great questions, by the way.
Next question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Hey, Coach Colzie, how you doing?
Miss Mona, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. I hope you are well.
Yes.
So, Coach, your offense, it looks like there was a time in the game where you were limited to 3.2 yards per carry with rushing. But of course, Daniel Richardson, he threw for 196 yards and 3 touchdowns. Can you talk about the adjustments that you make during the final quarter of the game against Alabama State, similar to Norfolk State and South Carolina State, where you guys are able to make a big push? Is that strategic, or is that just the resiliency of your players?
Well, a little bit of both, right? As a head coach, with also a predominantly defensive background, I felt at that time of the game, we were doing some things well defensively, right? And I thought that I didn't want any turnovers, even though we did have one in the fourth, but I wanted to keep our side of the field. I wanted to keep it clean, penalty wise and turnover wise, right? So we were going to run the football, get the ball out of Daniel Richardson's hands with some of the quick game stuff. Do some of the jet sweep that we were doing that we had done throughout the football game. But we ultimately felt that if we run the clock, run the football, let the clock run a little bit, depending on our special teams to punt the football, make Alabama State have to travel the length of the field. I liked our chances because they didn't necessarily have the opportunity to do that throughout the football game. So that was more. It wasn't more strategic, but I just felt that we were doing it situation wise. We knew offensively, defensively, special teams. We were able to do some really, really good things. And but I would say, run the clock on the offensive side, defensively. Make sure we kept the ball in front, which ultimately we did. I know, we bended a little bit, but didn't break. They got down there and, obviously gave us a great opportunity by missing 3 field goals. So, I liked our special teams. I liked our offense, what we were doing, and defensively, I felt our defense did a really, really good job containing them, right, and not necessarily giving up any points.
Thank you so much for that, Coach. And looking as a follow-up question, looking for Jackson State, of course, is your next game. Do you feel confident that this fourth quarter surge that you've been utilizing, or that's been working against teams that you've played against, is that going to be part of your overall game plan moving?
Fourth quarter against Jackson State, there might not be a game, right? They've done a great job in the beginning of games. That was something that was definitely noticed. They did a great job this past week. I think they were up 17-0. And then, obviously week before, so they've done a great job of starting well. And I don't know if we can not start well. We gotta be able to do the things that we've done in the fourth. We gotta be able to do that in the first and the second. Now we've shown that we can do it. But I think obviously the type of game that the type of game I feel it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be pretty high scoring. And you don't want to get down too much. I just think that as opposed to worrying about what Jackson State does, we just got to continue to stress and then continue to work on us starting well. I was extremely excited about how we started defensively. Now we just got to carry it over offensively as well.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
Hey, Charles. How you doing, boss?
Hey, I wanted to ask this question and going back to the Alabama State game. Very well coached team with regards to Alabama State, but what sort of makes them difficult in terms of trying to stop the running game? Because from a passing standpoint, they've sort of been one-dimensional over the past few weeks.
Ask that question one more time. Let me make sure I'm going to answer it correctly.
Yeah, I wanted to know how go for over 200 yards in this pass game.
Well, I mean, you could do a heck of a job, fitting gaps. You can do a heck of a job of holding up their alignment and things of that nature. But, the overall scheme, you're going to have to win there's going to be a time when there's a one-on-one tackle with your defensive player and their offensive player. And I thought they did a great job of winning those. You got that 60-something yard run where their running back, and it was their running back against our preseason all-conference safety, right? Now I'll take that one-on-one tackle coming against our safety every single time. Well, he made him miss, right? Then that sucker turned into a 65 to 66-yard run, right? So, they got it schemed up where, they're gonna, their offensive line, they got those big old chokers up there that do a great job, and they hold their point. Fullbacks, their receivers do a great job of blocking down the field, but ultimately you're gonna have to make one-on-one tackles, and on a couple of occasions we did not, and like I said, one was a 60-yarder, the other one was a 20-yarder. Well, heck, now it's almost 100 yards rushing just off of two runs because there may be one or two guys missing tackles. So, but they do a good job. They got they got 2 or 3 good running backs that they keep their feet running. They make moves when they need to, and they want to get their guys outside. So they do a good job. They do a good job allowing those guys to get that one-on-one advantage. And just because you make a tackle the first time or the second time, it doesn't mean you're gonna make it all the time. And then when that guy does miss, that's when they pop one.
Sure thing. I appreciate that, Coach.
No problem.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Grambling State. Coach Joseph, once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach Joseph with Grambling State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing great, Coach. Great. And as always, Coach, we appreciate you take some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, obviously, bye week for the Tigers this past week. If you can just kind of start us out by assessing this past week for your program.
Well, I mean, it was good. Going to the bye week with a loss. They always say you got to learn from your loss. So I think we did a good job this week of just going back and self-scouting ourselves and making sure that certain things don't stick out like a sore thumb, and making sure that the kids are intact what we've been doing the last 5 weeks, and make sure we're on the right page as coaches and players. So it was a good week just to reflect on ourselves, and that's what we did. So it also was good let the coaches get out there, go recruit, and let the kids go back and see their family. We've been grinding with this group since May 20th. This group we reported May 20th, and I think we gave them one break. It was the 4th of July week. So it was good for them to get home and reset and get ready for this 7-game season.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Doc, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. You just pointed out, as far as being on your bye week, that you're trying to go back to the basics. What is the things you want to try to do, especially on the offensive side, to kind of get a little bit more running, get a little bit more to your running game for the rest of the season?
Yeah, we installed some runs that we think that we capable of running. We looked at our self scout, and the numbers came back. Attack the numbers that's on the plus side for us, and we're going to continue to try to get better at those runs. And we got to do better on third down also, because those numbers didn't reflect that we were very good on third down. So we really got to harp on, just the run game, and then third down, keeping the chains moving on third down, because once we get in the red zone, look like we're pretty good. I think it was like 85% in the red zone, but we got to do that plays in our favor. Under wraps. We had to do that also.
And my second question is, you're going into the game against Alcorn. Tell me about the feel and the attitude of the team going into this game. And also, is this homecoming for Grambling for this week, if I'm not mistaken?
No, it's not
Okay.
homecoming. Next week's homecoming.
Okay.
And I think, on our part, we just to keep it frank, we pissed off right now, and we're going to play pissed off, because we felt like we had a game that we let because we didn't play up to the level that we put out. We said that we should play, the Grambling State standard of performance. We didn't play to the high level, but you got to take your hat off to PV. They kind of subdued that a little bit, but now we got to get where we're going with attitude for the next 7 games. So that's the attitude around here. It's a little chirpy around here. It's a little chirpy for the coaches and for the players. Everybody's on edge a little bit, and that's how we want it. We won when it was 4th and 1 in this building. So now it's back to 4th and 1 in this building, and when you get on a winning streak, you got to make sure that you stay consistent with how things are in the building. So it's back 4th and 1 in this building.
Appreciate your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Perry, how you doing?
Super fantastic. Hey, Coach, this Alcorn State Braves program traditionally determines who wins the Western Division of the SWAC. Your program has evolved quicker than most anticipated, becoming very relevant extremely quickly. Talk about this game and its importance in the SWAC Western Division title race.
Well, you know what? I have the pleasure to say I coached at both schools. I'm here back at Grambling, but I was with Jay Hobson in 13 at Alcorn, and I know the tradition of that program, that those kids are hard-nosed players. They, said Coach Thomas does a really good job of coaching them, but they have a lot of pride. Alcorn State has a lot of pride. I didn't know much about Alcorn State when I took the job with Coach Hobson, but I had a really good time down there. I had a great time living in Port Gibson. I knew Port Gibson, even existed, but it was a good town. But the magnitude of this game is a big game. It's Mississippi against Louisiana. And you only can say, what, 2 hours separates us. But it's going to be an exciting game. You couldn't ask for a better game this weekend. Alcorn, they travel well. So we're looking forward to the challenge, and it's going to be a really good game. And everybody's got to be on their A game. But I know they coming. I know they're bringing it. And in the West, go through them. And we understand that to win the West, it goes through Alcorn. So it's a good game for us right now, and we're gonna sit back and we're gonna prepare this week and give our best shot on Saturday.
Talk about your home field advantage. Jackson State came there and you defeated that Mississippi team there in the hole, and now you have another Mississippi team coming in. Talk about the home field advantage.
Well, anytime you got to go on the road, it's very difficult. And I spoke about that before, even in high school, but now playing at home is the advantage. You at your team hotel, you're on your routine, for home games. You don't have to travel far to get to your game. And after the game, you can just go straight home. So, and you're playing in front of your fans, you're playing in front of your folks, you're playing in front of your family. And it's just a great atmosphere what we had last week, the last time we played here against Jackson State. And I'm sure we have the same atmosphere. It just be a 2 o'clock game. But the advantage of just playing at home really helps you but it's hard. It's hard to play down. It's hard to play down on the road, and it's hard to play in the hole, because it's a different spot. But you take our hats off to our fans and our student body coming out and our band that's going to make it an atmosphere that, it's going to be hard to win in, But, Alcorn State, they've been here before. They've been here before. Sad don't been here before. Some of these kids don't been here before, so they know what they. So we expect a really good game, but like I said, we got to be on our A game to play these folks.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Ken Rashad.
Coach, how you doing? Ken Rashad, HBCU Sports. Can you hear me?
How you doing, Ken?
Yeah, Coach. I know that earlier you mentioned about the pass protection for Crawley. Talk about the adjustments or whatever plans you've made during the bye week to put him in a situation to where he can where you put him in a situation to where he can continue to get the type of protection that he needs in the passing game?
Well, we got to figure out what protection we need to keep him upright. Either it's going to be 5-man, it's going to be 6-man, or it's going to be 7-man protection. But at the end of the day, as a head coach, I want him to be upright. I don't want him on the ground. I don't want him getting hit. So it's my O-line coach, Coach Nelson, and my OC, Coach Dooley. They're working at it right now. Just solid, get the protection solid. If it's 5-man protection, he's got to know where his hot's at. He's got to know who's the 6-man coming. If it's 7-man, if it's 6-man protection, he's got to know if they bring 7. So we just got to do more recognition for him. To know where everything's coming, and sometimes it sets on your center that when he identifies the mic that the quarterback knows. So we got to do a better job as coaches. Upright, but we got to keep people off him, because I think when he's upright and he's confident that he's going to be protected, I think he's pretty darn good when that happens for him.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speak to you again next week.
I appreciate you. Good luck to you guys this week.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Next, we're going to go over to Arkansas Pine Bluff. Once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Hampton with UAPB. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, I want to deviate slightly. I know typically we dive right into football talk, but obviously some more life matters this past weekend that your program dealt with Caleb and your student athletes. Saw some promising news reported. So if you could give us an update on his condition.
Well, obviously, Caleb is at home. He stopped by yesterday, him and his parents, and his mom, dad, and his twin brother, Cal, which was a starting corner for us. He's out for the year as well. Got hurt in spring ball, but he's doing well. He's walking on his own. He's just walking a little gingerly. Obviously it was a scary moment for the young man, scary moment for everybody involved. But man, we people of prayer around here, and we had a lot of people calling, praying for him, lifting him up. And so, man, God delivered again. And so that's the good thing about the God that we serve, right? So the kid was talking about, Coach, man, we got practice on Monday, right? I was like, yeah, we do, but you don't. But that's just who he is. All is well with the young man, and hopefully he'll be coaching with us on Friday when we play Prairie View.
Outstanding. It's so great, and happy to hear that news, Coach. We've been thinking about you as long as him as well as your program. So with that being said, happy to be joined by you again. Coach, can you start us out with an opening statement, just recapping the game versus Alcorn State?
Obviously, very frustrating game. I mean, we had every opportunity to win the football game. I was up 14-0. We gave up a play that shouldn't have happened. And, then we take they kick it off to us. We run it back about 65 yards. They call a hold. Obviously we were dialed in early. And then, we kind of go back and forth, hold them a couple of times. And then we're driving the ball again. We get, a couple holding penalties, knock us out of, scoring range. And it's 14-14 at half. And then we get to fourth quarter, I think it's like 21-21. It's frustrating when you're building a program and then you're right there at it. And then the kids just got to continue to trust the scheme, trust themselves, trust your teammates. Because, when Caleb got hurt, man, we kind of had a little lull and the kids wasn't thinking football, and I don't blame them. But hats off to Alcorn. They won the game, but we're moving on.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Good morning, Coach. Gonna have a bit of a spotlight on UAPB this week, playing on a Friday night on national television. Obviously saw the band have their spotlight moment this past weekend, and now it's kind of you guys' turn for that national audience. How much of an opportunity are these things for you guys to be able to showcase UAPB and Golden Lion Nation to the country?
I mean, obviously, like I said, it's a Friday night game. Obviously, anytime you get on national TV, you're thankful for that opportunity. But we just need to probably get the tickets away this week. So we have some people. It's high school football, man. It's going to always be tough. But again, we just want a good crowd here for our players. So our guys can feel the love, feel the enjoyment. We know the band. They didn't travel with us last week. They had another engagement, which that was kudos to them. But obviously, anytime you get a Friday night game, you kind of, I normally sit in a hotel, watch Friday night games. So now it's us getting an opportunity to play. And so our young men, as I told them, man, everybody should be watching you, get a chance to go out there and do your very best. We'll have you ready to play. And so just take advantage of this moment. So we're thankful for the opportunity to be able to play on national TV. And we just need to show up as a team and present a good product and show everybody that we are one of the top teams in the Western Division. And like I said, it's just one game. We got 7 more to go. So we just got to keep battling.
And Coach, with that national TV spotlight comes the very late kickoff. And on a Friday, I'm sure a lot of the kids are going to have classes during the day and then have to play a game that's going to go pretty late. How do you get these guys prepared mentally and physically for such a long day and to still be able to perform at a high level on the field Friday night?
Hey, man, we did it. We did it in high school, didn't we? I mean, it's the same schedule, no different. You go to class all day in high school, then you play a 7 o'clock game. Well, we did this last year. We had an 8 o'clock game. We played Grambling. So all those things are just, they are what they are. You're a college football player. Somebody's paying your way to play a game for entertainment, and you get to do it on a Friday night. You get to sleep in your own bed, and you get to have your friends and your family come out to cheer you on. So it won't be hard to get them ready to play. I don't like just sitting around all day, but guess what? We'll be recruiting in the morning and we'll be watching film and just trying to put our guys in the best position to succeed. So that's kind of our mentality, and our players' mentalities are the same. Man, we just got to continue to just work. It doesn't matter whatever time that the game is what it is. We'll do walkthroughs. We'll watch more film. Obviously, you lose a day playing on a Friday, so we'll do a little more work. So it works out.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Good, man. First of all, I just want to say prayers to the team and also to the young man that's in the hospital. I hope he is really feeling well, and I know he said he's anxious to get back out on the field. But with that being said, you started the game off 14-7 in the first quarter, and throughout the game, it was kind of teetering towards your team actually trying to pick up the victory. But again, Alcorn makes some adjustments in the second half and then go on the run. What are some things you want to try to tell your team to implement for your team, especially on the offensive side, to try to keep the foot on the gas, and now especially coming in against Prairie?
And you just made a good point. Offensively, we were playing at a high level for like the first 3-4 drives. And what everybody's seeing is our quarterback's playing really well, and Javani's playing really well. And I said this multiple times, we have multiple weapons. We got to get the ball to other people. And so Makai has to spread the ball out. And he's doing a good job of taking care of the ball. But we have some receivers that can catch the football. And we got running backs that can run. And our O-line's doing a good job. We got tight ends that can catch the ball. So we can't get behind the chains. We're getting a couple holding penalties. just let Makai, and he has to throw the ball away some because he's taking some unnecessary hits. But offensively, we got to stay ahead of the chains, and we normally do. Coach Hull has done a tremendous job, man. And that's why I wanted to hire him last year. I mean, that's my guy. We work together. He's probably one of the smartest dudes I've ever worked with. So he's doing a tremendous job with him. We just got to get Makai to understand he's not Superman. He's just one man. He's just 1/11 of the other 10 guys on the field. If he does that, he's going to look better, even more. So we got to continue to get him to just listen to the calls. We got check downs for you built into it. You don't got to do anything unnecessary. And so we're trying to get him to do that. And then just, coming after halftime, being 14-14, they go down, score, we go down and score. I think they go score again and we go score. So our offense is giving us a chance to win defensively. We're just, man, we played well for 3 quarters, and then the 4th quarter, man, we just started, guys started playing selfish. And we always talk about being single-minded, just doing your job. And that's when you have a young team and you bring in a lot of different people, sometimes that happens. But I'm excited about where we headed. And obviously, man, I'm glad I got a lot of people that keep me upbeat. But we gotta keep our foot on these kids and continue to get them to believe, man. If you just do your part, the whole is going to be a beautiful picture in the end. It's a process, and we'll keep working. We got a good opponent coming in here this week, and so they put it on us last year pretty good, and they got some really good football players. Quarterback's good. They got some speed on the outside. They look like a group of 4, a group of 5 football team. So Coach has done a good job, building this football team.
Thank you for the time, Coach.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll get one more quick question. Lionel Mosby.
Hey, how you doing, Coach Hampton?
I'm doing good.
I was going to ask, right now I know you guys currently on defense, giving up an average of 230 yards on the ground. I know this last game of Alcorn was really tough, 311 total. Of course, a lot of that was, the QB's dynamic with a lot of scrambling. But now you're facing a PV team that's really struggling to run the ball efficiently, only averaging 89 yards a game. What are you doing this week to prepare your defense to win at the line of scrimmage and really keep that PV rushing attack limited?
Well, I'll just say this. The 4 teams we've lost to, okay, Arkansas, they're 4-2. They just beat the number 4 team in the country, correct? UCA, I think they lost last week, but they ranked what number? Top 10 in FCS. They got one of the best running backs, if not the best running back in FCS. And then we play Alcorn. That quarterback is special. That young man, all he do is just he sits back there, and if you get out your rush lanes, the kid rushed for 157 yards on 16 carries. And all those wasn't designed quarterback runs. It's just, hey, he's an athletic guy playing the quarterback position, and once you run everybody off, he can make people miss. Now, Prairie got some really good running backs, and they play some really good football teams. So I don't really consider them not being able to run the ball. We got to continue to just be gap sound, have gap integrity, get off blocks. We wasn't very good on the perimeter. That's what really kind of, in my opinion, hurt us in the last game, because that game against Alcorn was there for the taking. The 3rd quarter, man, they started throwing the ball on the edges, and we wasn't tough enough. And we got to get tougher. So it'll be a good game this week. We're going to have to stop the run. Anytime you play college football, the name of the game is to stop the run. And why would you pass it? Alcorn rushed for 311 yards. The tailback had 20 carries for 111. Some of those were 4-quarter runs, which when that's what you want to do when the game gets in the 4th quarter, you want to impose your will. So hats off to them. But again, we had every opportunity to win that game, and we just need to be able to stop the run. And offensively, for us, we need to be able to run the ball a little better, and we will. And then Makai needs to just keep us in positive situations. We had 2 turnovers, didn't get any, and so, man, if we do all those little things, the Golden Line is going to continue to get better, and then we're going to start making a little noise here sometime when our players just continue to trust the process, and we'll be all right.
And just to follow up about that offense, because it is very dynamic. But right now, I know you guys, this past game, only 2-11 on third downs. Right now, 17-57 on the season, so 29% conversion rate. What can you do to keep that offense on the field, convert on third down, so that way you guys will be able to, use a lot of those pieces that you got, especially out on the perimeter?
All right, we were 2-11 last week, right? 18%. And then what you say we were for the year?
17-57, yes, sir.
17-57. All right, so what I'm gonna do is, as soon as I get off this call, I'm gonna go in the OC's office and I'm gonna draw this on the board, and I'm gonna say they're asking what we're gonna do. All right, what we have to do is, honestly, we need to get ourselves in more third and manageable situations. I think we had a couple third and extra longs, honestly. And again, it falls back on us, as and when I say us, Makai, like we got some 2nd and 6 calls. And then if he just runs the ball, take what they give him, it's going to be 3rd and 3. Then he's taking unnecessary hits, sacks, things of that nature. Then we get linemen down the field. Those are some of those things. So we're not as bad as it looks, but man, this offense is dynamic. But I'm going to say it again. We threw for 237 yards. Giovanni had 180 yards. Well, guess what? Man, we got 4 more receivers that can play college football, and they're really special. So we got to get the ball to everybody. And that's what we've been working on. One young man that's transferred to it, he's been hurt, but he had a great week last week. And when you see him, I think everybody will understand, like, hey, okay, coach was telling the truth. We got a lot of weapons, and we just got to be able to get the ball to them. And like I said, Coach Holden, his offensive staff, they're doing a great job for us. They're giving us the opportunity to win all these games.
Thanks so much, Coach Hampton.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Appreciate it. Y'all be blessed.
Thank you. All right, next up, we go to Mississippi Valley State and Coach Kendrick Wade. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning.
Appreciate your patience with us, Coach. I know we're a tad bit behind schedule, but obviously appreciate your time out of your schedule. Coach, obviously a bye week this past week for your program. If you just kind of start us out just by assessing your program this past week.
Yeah, I mean, it was a much needed break. We was able to use this time just to kind of get back to basic fundamentals, tackling, running, catching the ball, protecting the ball. We was able to do some self-scouting. So that report came back and it gave us some insight as far as who we are, what we do well, what we don't do so well. And, it was a really good week. The kids got an opportunity to go home, be with their families for a few days, and they showed back up yesterday, enthused, excited, and we're looking forward to our next opponent, Alabama State.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Stephen Robinson.
Good morning to you, Coach.
Stephen, my man, good morning.
All right. Hey, good morning. Just wanted to get your thoughts on last week. You talk about the coaching changes that you made, somewhat close to midseason now, and then you're coming off of a bye week. And you talked about rebooting, reassessing. Do you feel as though after what you've been through, maybe the past week or two at this juncture of the season, it is almost like a sense of a rebirth or re-energized team? Do you sense perhaps even a new team as you get ready to somewhat turn this corner and go into the second half of your season?
Yeah, I mean, same team, just a different mindset. It's about everybody kind of, going in the same direction. And, anybody that's no longer with us, we're going against the grain. So for us, it's all about just identifying who we are and what we're about. So these last couple of weeks have been very revealing for us, just kind of show who's with you, who's not with you. Stephen, I mean, in life, you learn about who's really with you when things are going bad. When things are going great, everybody's on board, everybody's with you. So again, these last couple of weeks just been a great opportunity for us to see who's really committed to this process. Everybody want to be a part of the outcome. And again, we trending in the right directions. I mean, we 0-5, but we're still trending in the right direction. And this is when you find out who deserves to be with you when that thing starts rolling.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Sway, how you doing today?
Doc, good morning, my man.
Man, first of all, I need a 2X in that hoodie you got on right there. And second of all, you went into the bye week, you try to get yourself mentally and physically motivated for the next game coming up. What are some things you want to try to implement as far as this week for the opponent you got coming up?
Hey, well, first thing, Doc, if you want one of these hoodies, this here is for our women's volleyball team. So Coach Conway can get you one of these. So make sure you reach out to her. They had their first SWAC win on yesterday. So definitely want to represent for the volleyball team. As far as what we have to do, we have to get better at just tackling. We playing a really good rush offense. Alabama State has the #1 rushing offense in the SWAC, and we're sitting at 12 in rush defense. So, you know, it's going to be a challenge for us. So again, it's all about just for us, just we got to be able to stop the run. You know, like I said, we did a self scout, and that's the biggest deal. We hadn't stopped the run, and we've turned the ball over too much. You know, we're down 14-21 before the game gets started, and that's just us just being in our own way. So again, it's about just getting back to the basic fundamentals. You know, can you tackle the ball and can you protect the ball? So that's all we focus on. And I think this weekend you're gonna see the best version of Mississippi Valley State. We step out against Alabama State. No ifs and buts about it.
And my second question is, with the quarterback play, you want to try to. It has been a turnover fest for you for most of the season as far as with interceptions. What are you trying to tell your QBs going into the game against Alabama State about keeping the ball protected?
Well, you know, we talked to the quarterback, you know, but my thing is my conversation have been with the offensive coordinator. You know, we have to help the kid. You know, we have to help protect them against themselves. So we're not gonna throw the ball as much as we've thrown. You know, we kind of put it in harm's way, you know, so we don't want to throw it as much as we've done. And again, you know, we had to find out what he's comfortable with. So, you know, he had to walk in the office, he had to tell us, what are your 5 concepts that you love? The 5 concepts that you absolutely love, and we feature our game plan around that. So, you know, he got to make better decisions, but as coaches, we had to make sure that we're doing everything that we need to do to put him in position to help make those better decisions.
All right, appreciate you for your time, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Coach Wade, good morning to you. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Ty.
When you spoke about tackling and working on that during the off week, did you find out whether it was more schematically or was it a personnel issue in some instances? And will that change this weekend against Alabama State in terms of the personnel?
Both. It was both. You know, there are some things that we could have done differently. You know, we had these thoughts and ideas of the type of defense we thought we would be, and we had to make some tweaks and changes with that. And another part was just guys missing tackling, you know, guys getting there. So again, we got back to the basic fundamentals of that. We don't necessarily go live a whole lot during practice, but we had some couple of days we had to go live. We had to see who can really do this thing. You know, we try to protect each other by thudding up. You know, we feel if you can kind of get to the guy, thud him up pretty good, you should be good at tackling, you know. So again, I don't think the guys truly understood that concept of what it looked like. So we had to go live, and we went live, and it got tested, and it was good. It was good to see that fight in the fire. So like I said, this past week was really good for us, man. We needed this week. This was something we absolutely needed. And like I said, I think you're gonna see a better tackling team on Saturday.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coach Wade, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Next up, we go over to Prairie A&M and Coach Bubba McDowell. Once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature. Your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach McDowell with Prairie A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. If you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Incarnate Word.
Yeah, went into Incarnate Word. Again, we knew we was going up against a good football team. Again, we're just going to have to weather the storm with these guys with this hurry-up offense that they do so well. Again, they came out hitting us going down the field with the hurry-up offense, but we settled in finally, you know, we held them to a field goal, and then we bounced right back, and we scored offensively. And the game was pretty tight, like 19-4 going into halftime, and then coming out mid-third quarter, we were still in the game. And you know, from there, it just went left. You know, special teams, we're kicking two dynamic returners. Again, we got to be smarter. You know, kick away from these guys, and we did not do that, and we just went downhill. Like I said, we couldn't tackle, and you know, and tackling has been one of our biggest issues this whole season thus far. So again, just trying to figure out. Again, you know, you heard Coach Wade talk about, again, you think they would be better at it, you know, just thudding up. You know, but a lot of times it doesn't happen, you know, during the course of the game. And it's on us as coaches to figure out, you know, that, you know, how to get that done. Again, offensively, again, we're right there. You know, we left some things out there that would really have helped us in that third quarter to switch that momentum going in our way. But again, we didn't capitalize on it defensively. Same thing came out second half, you know, and then, you know, 3rd and 14, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and, you know, several times we just jumping off sides, you know, and, you know, giving them the momentum, you know, and being able to keep them going down the field. So, you know, we got to, you know, as coaches, got to get in, correct those things with these young men and help them understand, you know, we're in position. And again, if we stop shooting ourselves in the foot, you know, we can be a pretty good football team. So, you know, that's what we've been working on all week, a short week, you know, going in here, going to go down to a Pine Bluff and, play a good football team, you know, and I heard him say, man, I mean, they're there. I mean, I love Gibson. I love the way he, you know, run routes, you know, again, I don't know a whole lot about the other guys. And when he say that he got guys, I believe it, you know, and we have to make sure that we're ready to play a good football team, you know, despite the record. I mean, sure, look at our record, but still, we all playing good football, but again, we're not on that winning side that we want to be on, you know, and mainly because we're not capitalizing on our opponent mistakes and they're capitalizing on ours. So again, we just got to go in as we talk to these young men this whole week. You know, we got to play, you know, Prairie football for four quarters. You know, if we do that, we're gonna be okay.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Good morning, Coach. Tanner Spearman with the Pine Bluff Commercial. You guys are going to be coming out here to Pine Bluff, be your 3rd straight game away from home, but this is going to be one that's a really late kickoff on national TV. Could easily go past 11, maybe even close to midnight. For such a long day and into the night, how do you get your guys prepared mentally and physically to be able to still perform at a high level that late at night?
And we just got to make sure, you know, as coaches, we got to make sure that they stay upbeat. And our guys, you know, we got a bunch of crew guys, shall I say, a bunch of players that you know, that's pretty upbeat, you know, pretty much all the time. Again, we just, you know, we haven't had a break. You know, you can tell it's definitely taking a toll on our body, you know, since training camp, you know, and you know, so we've been taking the pass off a little bit more, you know, try to get the bodies back, you know, and cutting the time down out there on the field as well, so we can kind of get refreshed, you know, and get ready to go in and play a good football team. They know it's a late game. They know it's a long trip. So we just got to get these guys mentally prepared and ready to go no matter what. We still got to play the game. We still got to go out there and play a really good football team, you know, and hopefully we can get that win, you know, and then get back on this bus and head back to Houston.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Lionel Mosby.
Hey, how you doing, Coach Bubba?
Hey, Lionel, what's up, bud?
Hey, I know this last game went up against Jalen Walthout, you know, one of the best wide receivers in FCS statistically. I know he went for, I think, 170 yards on 12 catches, had 2 touchdowns. You spoke already about Giovanni Gibson, right, who leads the SWAC, I think, 115 yards per game.
Yeah.
What's the game plan coming into this week to prepare the defense to limit his production so you don't let, you know, these 2 guys beat you, right, Hagens to Gibson?
Right. And again, we're not looking at just 2 guys. I mean, like I said, we know they got some more weapons over there. And again, our philosophy with these young men, again, is to make sure they just go out and do their responsibility. And as I said earlier, a lot of times when we make mistakes, that it end up costing us, you know, defensively. And, you know, again, that's been our biggest Achilles heel. Just, you know, when we're in a position to make a play or 3rd down or 2nd down or even an interception or type hands on the ball, we don't come up with the big play. And we got to figure out how to shut these guys down, you know, going into a Friday night's game. Again, really good football team. I believe that wholeheartedly. And, you know, and as I told them, I said, look, bro, they gonna come out, they gonna be ready to go. They don't give a crap about you being PV, they don't give a crap about you, having a lot of transfers, guys, from the portal. They're gonna come out and try to win this football game. Now for us, we just got to go down there, be mentally prepared, offensively and defensively, and again, just not shoot ourselves in the foot, and give ourselves a chance. If we do that, I think we can be, we need to be in the ball game, we're going to win the ball game. But again, we just got to give ourselves a chance, to make these plays that we're capable of making.
And I want to ask too, I know UIW was 4-12 on third downs, but they were 3 of 3 on fourth downs, obviously, and that kept them on the field a lot. On one of those fourth downs, I think when it was 26-21, the refs called a pass interference call on one of the DBs. Looked like they didn't get their head around. Was that something that kind of we teach them to play through the receiver's hands, or is it something they just not implementing there, to get their head around and look at the ball there?
You hit on the head, exactly. They got to play through the receiver there. Once the receiver get past them, it's going to be very hard for a lot of these athletes today, should I say. You get one or two that may be able to get there, close the gap, get in phase is what we call it, and turn the head at the right time. But a lot of times when that receiver pass you, you got to get in phase, and when you get in phase, you got to read through his arms, and that's one of the things. I work with the guys today at practice, and I'm like, dude, we're gonna stop all this individual stuff. Let's start working some technique stuff. So we did a lot of that today in practice, just reading the wide receivers, and again, if we're as good as we say we are defensively in the backfield, we gotta show it. Not just talk about it. As I told my guys yesterday, I said, you guys keep saying y'all lock down corners, hey, when are you guys going to show it? So yeah, you're absolutely right. They got to be able to read through, the receiver's arms, eyes, and make the play. Simple as that.
Thank you so much, Coach Bubba. Good luck this Friday.
Appreciate it.
Last question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Bubba, how you doing today?
What up, Doc?
I'm doing good, man. 10 penalties for 112 yards. What are you going to try to get the team as far as getting them focused mentally?
Well, we started there. Now implemented a little running the hill and 100-yard rolls for those who made those mistakes during the course of the game. Again, I have to get their attention somehow, some way, and as I told them in the team meeting, I'm going in a different direction with these mistakes that we continue to hurt ourselves with, and I figured out, I don't know if I figured it out, but, like I told them, I'm going to implement some things, going forward, and if you do it during the course of a practice and you're going to get off the field during that time, you're going to hit the hill until I'm done with it, until we're done with practice, or until I'm saying it's enough, because again, it is enough. We've had many chances, be it offense, third down, we dropping balls or blowing assignments, with our running backs, running backs not hitting the hole, they tiptoeing, and again, O-line, again, missing assignments. So, and again, we keep talking about we got these backs back there, and believe me, we do. But again, these guys got to understand that they got to do their job, and no more excuses. We're in SWAC play right now. Again, we're going up against a good team. We got to figure out somehow, some way to put it together. And if that means I need to take you out and you're screwing it up in practice and get you to the hill and help you understand, I can't make these mistakes. That's what I'm going to do, because again, we're too good. We have a lot of good athletes that are not, doing what they're asked to do defensively and offensively. So again, we can get that done, on both sides of the ball. We're going to be okay. We can be a pretty good damn team.
And my second question is, everybody's for Pine Bluff is talking about Mekhi Hagans and Javonte Gibson, that duo right there, but nobody doesn't seem to talk about Ross, the running back. What are some things you see about him that you think you could try to limit him in the game on Friday?
We got to get to him early. I mean, not let him get going. I mean, he's very patient, and he could stop and go. He chooses well, the holes that he, again, that is built for him or there for him at the time. So again, for us, it's just not letting him get going. And same thing for Mekhi and Gibson. We got to get on these guys early, and if we don't, it's going to be a long day for PV defense, PV secondary as a whole. So again, we just got to do what we're capable of doing, up front, and then more so in the secondary. You know, these some dudes. Believe me, I'm looking at them, the whole, all the games, and they can make something happen. So again, we have a big challenge ahead of us, defensively, offensively, and special team wise. Again, just going down to Pine Bluff. Late night. A big game on TV. So now it's going to really come down to what team is going to perform the best out there Friday night.
All right. Appreciate your time, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Next, we go over to Southern University. Coach Graves, once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Graves with Southern University. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Drew. How are you?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate you. Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Nicholls State.
Well, we had a great turnout. Appreciate the Jaguar Nation and all the support that came out to A.W. Mumford to the Bluff on Saturday. It was a really great crowd, really great weather, atmosphere. It was high school day. We definitely did not come out with the outcome that we expected. It's disappointing to say the least. But I will say that guys did continue to fight. But we have to really take a look at what we're doing to put our guys in the best positions to be successful. I thought that we got in a whole field position. Really was a huge disadvantage for us in the first quarter. You have 6 turnovers. It's going to be tough to beat anyone, and especially a good football team. It's going to be tough to beat that team when you turn the ball over 6 times. And that's something that we talked about. We had a meeting yesterday as the coaching staff as we met, and we had a real in-depth, positive meeting, and we had to do some things and change some things. But still in all, I think we gotta meet with those guys today. We gotta make the corrections. We gotta have some serious, real conversations. Like I told them on Saturday night, everybody has to take a look in the mirror, and it starts at the top down, because it was a disappointment for everyone, and so everybody played a part in it. And so we're gonna make the corrections today. We're gonna go out and practice tonight. We're gonna put that on the shelf, and then we got to get ready for a good Texas Southern football team this week.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Jim Kleinpeter.
Hi, Coach. What kind of reaction did you get from your players after that game? I mean, were they contrite about their performance? I know you were probably pretty upset about it.
Well, the guys were upset. They were upset. They know that we didn't play our best ball game, and by far, we made well, number one, we didn't play well at home, and that's disappointing. Whether we were home on the road, you never want to start off or play that way. Again, turning the ball over, bad field position, missed assignments and things of that nature. Guys were pressing to try to make plays and got themselves out of position. So we just those guys they understand. I mean, those guys, and that's the thing that I love about this team is those guys, they will take ownership, and it's nothing that they just thumb their nose at. They know that we have to fix those things that we didn't do well.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Hey, Coach, that Nicholls State team had a number of Louisiana high school athletes on their team, kids that played high school ball in Louisiana. It was high school day on the Bluff. What would be your message to a potential FCS player that is considering where to go to school in Louisiana?
It's always the same. Southern University is a great academic institution. It's a great culture, learning environment. It's a great place to live, a great place to grow. and be your best selves. And we have great athletic programs. So we're gonna always keep it the same, regardless of the outcome of the football game. There's no place like the Bluff. Louisiana high school students, student athletes, they understand the culture, the atmosphere, and they know that we are committed to recruiting and bringing Louisiana high school students here first, student athletes, and they know the history and the tradition of the program, and we're just going to continue to do what we do.
And turning the page on that game, Coach, let's talk about Texas Southern, a much improved team this year under Coach Cris Dishman. But traditionally, they have been a problem for Southern University. Talk about what you've seen on film regarding this year's Texas Southern team.
Coach Dishman's doing a tremendous job with Texas Southern. Those guys they're big, they're physical. They have some athletes in all positions, and they play with a swagger. They play with a swagger, and those guys are doing a good job. Yeah, Texas Southern has always been a team that we've always battled and had to battle, and so nothing's changed in terms of that. So they're doing a really good job, and we have to make sure that we are doing the things. And first of all, as coaches, we got to make sure that we put those guys in the best position possible to be successful, to give ourselves an opportunity to win.
Good luck, Coach. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Good morning, Doc. How you doing? Doing well. Thank you.
All right. Going into the team stats, you had 11 penalties for 99 yards, and you also had 1 turnover. To your point, 4 turnovers. To your point, I'm sorry. What is the thing you want to try to implement and try to make sure the team is mentally there, and especially against Texas Southern, who has had your number for a couple of years now?
Well, we had 10 penalties for 74 yards, and we had 6 turnovers. So that's definitely not good at any stretch of the imagination. And in order to be a good football team, you got to make sure that we eliminate those penalties. Some of them are questionable, but then the ones that we have to make sure that we address and continue to address those things that we did, the offsides, the false starts. Those are the ones that we can control. The ones that we that are judgment calls. We have to live with those. We have to make sure that we continue to make sure that we teach and put an emphasis on making sure that we don't make it close. We just gotta do play our brand of football. We got to be disciplined and locked in and focused and make sure that we do the things that we need to do. Last year we played Texas Southern here, and of course it wound up going to overtime. Josh Griffin kicked a 54-yard field goal in the win to take it to overtime, and then we were able to be successful. Traditionally, that game has always been tough. And so we just got to make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do and put those guys in position to give ourselves a chance to win.
And my second question is trying to get in the running game. You only had 32 yards as far as a team rushing the ball. What are the things you want to try to implement for your running backs, and also different blocking schemes for your offensive linemen to get going against Texas Southern this weekend?
Well, we just got to make sure that we're carrying out our assignments. Guys got to do what they have to do. 32 yards rushing when you're down 24-0, 24-0 in the first quarter. It's going to be hard to rush the football. We were chasing points from the first quarter to the end. So we can't sit here and think that we're going to run the football when we're chasing points. It's 38-0 at halftime. You got to do what you need to do to try to give yourself an opportunity to come back and win the ball game. And also, I mean, we have 3 running backs, 3 good running backs, solid running backs, and those guys have to really just trust what we're doing. We saw what we could do if we just stick to the script. When we played PV, when we were running the football, we had some success doing that. We got to make sure that we're putting them in position to make sure that they stick to the script, trust what they see, execute what they're doing. Everybody has to play their part and trust the process. And if we do that, we'll be fine. But when we start getting outside of ourselves and trying to do our own things, then that's when we get in trouble.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Next question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good morning. How are you? Thank you.
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Coach Graves, Southern is currently second in the rankings for the SWAC West. So you guys are still in the fight for the SWAC West title with Alcorn winning against UAPB and Valley. So you guys have some key matchups coming up, especially heading into the second half of the season. What message are you giving your players to keep them motivated and focused as the competition tightens, and what adjustments are you looking to make to ensure your team stays in the race for the SWAC West?
Well, despite having lost last week, everything that our goals are still intact. We still have everything in front of us, and that's motivation enough to have an opportunity to continue to be in the hunt for the West. That's the thing that we have to continue to keep our eyes on the prize and make the main thing, and we have to take it one day at a time. We have to take it one day at a time, and then we have to dominate today. We have to win today, and as every day, and we have to stack days upon days, doing things the right way, doing it the way that we know, the standard that we set for ourselves. We have to continue to do that, and if we do that, we'll give ourselves a chance at the end. So we just have to make sure that we're being our best selves, because if we're our best selves all the time, everybody's their best self, then we're great together.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck this
Thank you.
weekend.
Last question goes to Jim Kleinpeter.
Yeah, Coach, what is Xavier T-Set's status this week? Are you going to go back to him as a starter if he's healthy?
Don't know if he's healthy enough to play this week. He's moving around really well. He's at practice. He's locked in. He's engaged. He says he feels good. We'll know more this week, and we'll make a decision based on what the doctors say, what the sports medicine team, and how he feels. We're not going to put him in jeopardy because we're going to need him going forward. So we want to make sure that he's ready to go when he's ready to go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next, we're going to go over to Texas Southern and head coach Dishman. Once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. All right, I do see that we have Coach with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing this morning?
Doing great, Coach, and appreciate your patience. I know we're behind your time schedule, so appreciate your patience, Coach.
No worries.
If you could start us out with an opening statement, just recapping your team's most recent outing versus Virginia Lynchburg.
Well, it's good to get a win. It's always good to win, no matter who you play. We was on a 2-game slide of losing, so we end up winning the homecoming game. It was my first HBCU homecoming. What an experience that was. So the guys was able to stay focused all week and come out with a win, which is great.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Charles Bishop.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Mr. Bishop?
I know you never begrudge a win, but how would you characterize this win against Virginia Lynchburg, a team that's been offensively challenged?
Well, it's a win. We got to move on. We got a tough game ahead of us. We got a tough schedule ahead of us. We play Southern coming up. Then we got our bye. Then we go into a Grambling. Then we go into our SWAC West play. So I characterize that as a win.
Quick follow-up. When you talk about your pillars of things that you wanted to see this past week in terms of scoring in the red zone and limiting your penalties, what was your message to the team? 3 of 6 in the red zone, and then 5 penalties for 60 some odd yards.
Well, you can't be 50%. You got to be 60% or more in the red zone. We was 50% in the red zone, so we have to score more points in the red zone. Even though We missed some kicks that should have been made, but that's here nor there. We have to cut down on our penalties. You know, we facing Southern, we can't have no 5 or 6 penalties. You know, they're a good, well-coached football team. Got great players on the edges. The quarterback's a good quarterback. They got a great running back. So we have to be on our P's and Q's in order for us to win this game.
Sure thing. Appreciate that, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Coach, so you talked about what you've seen on this Southern team on film. The 2 quarterbacks, Noah Bodden has played most of the games recently, but they do have a freshman quarterback that has played some as well that may or may not be able to play this week. Can you talk about your strategy against both of those quarterbacks? Do your defensive schemes change in here?
Yeah, they have to change because they're 2 different quarterbacks. So we have to practice versus 2 quarterbacks. If coach is still on the line, if he can just give me a cheat sheet right now, if he can just tell me who's going to play, then it'd be easy. So, Coach, I'm throwing it back to you, Coach, so you can tell me who's going to play at quarterback.
Now, Coach, this Southern team has struggled to run the ball. If you could talk about that and what your thoughts are defensively.
Well, it's football is old cliche. Stop the run and force them to pass. You know, they have a real good running back over there. Well, we don't want their running game to get started on us. So we're constantly telling our guys that don't look at what they have done, look at what they can do. And that's what we tell our guys each and every time. When we watch film, we don't look at a team or what they have already done. Look at what they can do. And they can run the ball. They have the offensive line and they have the running backs to run the ball.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Doc, and you?
I'm doing good, doing good. You celebrated a victory for homecoming against Virginia Lynchburg. You also ran the ball for 222 yards for 5.7 yards per carry. Tell us the things about the running back room that you think can be an asset to you for the Southern game.
Well, it's different speed and different people. Southern got a good defense, and they're probably gonna stack the box on us and not let us try to run the ball. So we have to be able to be up for that challenge first and foremost. Virginia Lynchburg is Virginia Lynchburg. We won the game. We put that aside. I told the guys they had 6 hours to celebrate the win. After that, we started concentrating on Southern. That night, I started breaking down Southern film. Trying to get all the players, get the coaches' background and stuff like that. So we're all in for this game.
And give us a quick synopsis of Quintel Quinn, your freshman running back.
Well, he's a good player. He's a big player. He's a big body guy who's gonna. He's a big body guy who can make some yardage for us, which is good.
Okay. Appreciate you all your time, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Next question goes to Jim Kleinpeter.
Yeah, Coach, I see y'all struggled a little bit with the passing game again. What has been the progression of your quarterback situation, and are you seeing some improvement there?
Well, our quarterback situation is what it is. We got to get that room healthy. Jordan Davis has done a good job of maintaining what he can do. So I think we'll be all right. We just have to lean on some people, lean on some of our receivers and tight ends to make the plays when it's time for them to make the plays.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, sounds good, guys. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Next up, we go over to Jackson State. Coach Taylor and Coach, before we get started, just want to thank you for your patience. I realize we're a tad bit behind schedule, so thank you for your patience with us.
No problem.
All right, and good morning to you, Coach. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement regarding your team's most recent outing versus Alabama A&M.
Another great conference win. We're very happy where we are right now as a program, 2-0 in the Eastern Conference. But great football game. Came out,
firing on all cylinders in the first half. Was able to build a big lead going into the half. But, Coach Maynor has done a great job over there keeping those guys fighting. That team really fought us the entire game, and they clawed their way back into the game, and we got to find ways to keep that separation we had in that game. At one point, I think we were up 28-3 in that game, but Coach Maynor had those guys fired up. He threw everything in the book at us too, for him to call that punt, fake punt right there backed up on that -20, I think somewhere up in there was a gutsy call, but it panned out for him. His team played hard, but very pleased with my football team and the things we were able to do. And to be sitting 2-0 in the Eastern Division is right where we want to be right now.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good afternoon, Coach. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, Doc. How are you?
I'm doing good. Again, this is the second year in a row where we started off big in the first half, and then in the second half, Alabama A&M makes a late surge to kind of make the game a little bit interesting. What did you tell the guys after the game of how to try to keep the foot on the gas?
We just got to find ways to finish. We start out fast. We got a tendency right now when we get those big leads. You look back at the Texas Southern game, it happened as well. We allow teams to get back into games, but we just got to be better. And that was just a different game. Alabama A&M had 89 total plays. That's a lot of plays out there. They were able to sustain a lot of long drives. And with us, it only, I think, 42, 45 plays, time of possession. They had it for 40 minutes. We only had it for 20 minutes and was still able to generate 45 points. But as a football team, if we're going to start that way, we got to finish it that way, Doc. And that's what I've been emphasizing to the team.
And yeah, you just emphasized, this goes into my second question. A&M had the ball for close to 40 minutes, but they also was 6 for 6 on fourth down. Tell us how you want to try to get the team, especially the defense, because pretty much the defense was gassed in the second half, trying to make sure the defense get off the field and also try to get the offense to kind of implement a long scoring drive to keep the defense fresh.
Yeah, a couple of times we just did a bad job. We got to be better at tackling, getting guys on the turf. Their quarterback did a great job on the 4th and long down there in the red zone. We back there able to get the sack. He scrambles around and makes the touchdown throw. One of those, it was actually 5 of 5. One was on the special teams, like I said, on that fake punt. They were able to, generate that first down. But those are situations in the game, that you can lose football games if you're not executing well. So we know we got to do a good job of that. And you're going to have those kind of opportunities. That's what I told the team as well. When you're up on teams like that, they're going to be going for it on fourth down on quite a few occasions. And it's up to us as a defense to get them off the field.
Appreciate you, Coach.
No problem. Thank you.
Next question goes to Mona Stapleton.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So, Coach, the special teams played a crucial role in this game. We saw Travis Terrell. He delivered a 96-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, and then he had some other solid punt returns, and Gerardo Baeza showed consistency in the field goals. With FAMU coming up, how important is it for your special teams to continue to capitalize on their opportunities to put you guys in good field position?
We expect that every week out of them. That's something that we wanted to improve on going into this season. We went out and recruited well, guys like Travis Terrell. We recruit G-Baby, Gerardo back from an injury last year. Matt only punted twice in that game, but they were huge punts. He did a great job of pinning them back right there. And if you look at the FAMU game that we played against them last year, that was one of the deals where they were able to separate on us because of special teams. So that's a big emphasis for us overall as a football team this year, and we want to continue, to get better out there. And Travis Terrell, anytime he touches the football, he's just he has big time speed. You don't see a lot of true freshmen with that kind of explosiveness, and he's been doing a great job for us.
Thank you, Coach. And just as a follow-up question, I know Doc, he asked a couple of questions about the time of possession and stuff. But as you prepare for FAMU, this is a team that's known for strong offensive drives and late game executions. What defensive adjustments are you going to focus on, or are you going to try to spread your strike fast offense? So these are some of the things that we're looking towards the FAMU game. And given the challenges you faced against Alabama A&M in the late half, what are you going to do to fix that so that to keep FAMU from scoring in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, we just, as an offense, I think we got to continue to be able to run the football. We got the ball, be able to find ways to get them off the field. The other day we were scoring, like you said, in 2 and 3 plays, so our defense was out there a lot. But they got to be ready for those kinds of moments. They want to be an elite defense in this conference. They are an elite defense in this conference, and those kind of moments, they just got to find ways to get teams off the field. But we're looking forward to the challenge. I know Coach Colzie has a great football team over there. They're going to come here ready to play. They're well coached. And, we're just going to go out here, execute. We'll start game planning for those guys today and put together a good plan and be competitive on next weekend.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll take a question now from Charles Bishop.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
What's up, Chuck?
Hey, I want to ask this quick question in terms of what will the bye week look like for you guys in terms of just prepping yourself for FAMU?
Yeah, the emphasis on the board, the jumbo board today was get better. That's what this week is all about. Big technique week. You want to get the little things right. The things up to this point that we can get better at, each individual player, each coach. So that's what we want to emphasize. I told the players and the coaches, this is not an off week. This is by no means, we're in the thick of of this conference and the SWAC conference games. So we got to continue to work, and we're playing good football right now. And I want to continue to stay on the gas with that and continue to get these guys conditioned for that backstretch of this season.
A quick follow-up to that, and does it also give you an opportunity to get some guys who've been sort of nicked up during the first course of the season, sort of get them back for the FAMU game?
Definitely. We got some guys we're waiting to get back on the field that we could have used in this.
Question goes to Doc Holliday.
I have one more question for you, Coach. Jonas Fortillion, his play this season kind of reminds me of yourself from back in the day. What are some things that you like about this kid right here?
Jonas has been a guy that I've been around. When I was coaching the receiver room when he was a freshman, I saw the talent in him, and I think you hit the nail on the head. He does remind me of myself a lot. When that ball is in the air, he goes up and get it. And he's learning the game of football right now. That's why he's getting better each and every week. We're doing a good job as a staff, trying to critique ways and get ways schematically to get the ball in his hands. He understands the route tree. The thing that people don't really realize how good of a blocker he is in the run game. He really gets after the second level, the corners, the safeties, when it's the we're running the football. Just a complete player. And he's young. He's got a lot of football ahead of him. But the things he's done up to his point, he's earned it. He's went out there and put in the work week in, week out, and that's why you see that talent on the field each and every weekend.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
No problem.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you. This concludes our SWAC football head coaches media session for Monday, October 7th.